In today's video, my friend gets shot in Iran.
Today, MH's NPC gets f***ing mag dumped.
What now?
We're in the basement, guys.
Yo, I don't mean to intrude.
Hey, yo. What the f*** is that?
It's the girl version.
Hey, shawty. Hey, daddy.
What?
Agnes
You know what that's
Keener.
it? I'm no longer afraid of you. Come fight me.
You gotta.
I'm streaming. I'm streaming.
I'm watching a video right now. So let me watch this. I'm gonna call you back.
Okay, then I've no. Okay, yeah, bro's going to have no luck trying that. That's gonna type in the name.
So right now. So let me watch this. I'm
Gonna type in the name.
go right now. So let me watch this.
Cause every time this does not want to yeah, play shit and stuff. Yeah, I forgot to buy that shit. I will just watch videos until someone goes until someone joins. I'm dangerous.
Tuner, go tuner.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Tankfish.
And I'm in your house.
Did I scare you? Welcome to The Intruder, a realistic simulation of what happens to an average white household in Detroit during the night.
Oh hey.
In fact, I myself am a professional intruder who goes around stealing socks, and I make sure to not steal a pair, but only one of the pair, leaving you with a singular sock with no pair. The funniest shit is that I still haven't been found, because they all blame it on the washer, which is f***ing hilarious. It was me. You're missing socks. It was me. Dark put his fursuit back on.
Hello.
And we found a cat on the street. His name is Bloom. He's just like us, kinda retarded. So yeah, enjoy the video. Wait, let's play musical chairs.
Alright,
I'll play the music.
there you go, Rounder. Wait, musical chair, What's the song?
Stop. Alright, gang, let's do this.
Yo, anxiety? I already got that shit, bro.
Awareness 0%? That's so me.
Oh, the phone.
Yeah, I got it.
中国驻芝加哥总领事馆，您好，您有一封文件向内。
This is an official report from the police department.
The police department?
We have received reports that a criminal is in your local
What
area.
criminal is that?
Did they find out what happened on July 5th, 1994?
Guys, son, what did you do on July 5, 1994?
In the meantime, y'all want to shake some ass?
We're in Paris! Oh, Jax, come here! We're in Paris!
Oh, who is in Paris, guys? Who?
Read the manual on the bed. Guys, hop on the bed. Let's read the manual.
You're a broke ass and your phone is dog shit. It will randomly ring for no good reason. When it does ring, you must silence it or else your big black neighbor is gonna get angry. When he becomes 100% aware that it's your dumbass phone that is ringing, he will intrude in your house and kick your ass. The fact that there's a big black man nearby gives you anxiety. To lower it, you must keep the lights on and stay on the cameras. If it reaches 100%, you will get a sheer heart attack and f***ing die. The intruder is a big black man who wants to get a feel of your teeth. He will progressively go towards you and you can spy him from your cameras. When he gets close to your room, you must turn off your lights and hide in the closet. Don't worry, he's a blind ass motherfucker and is not gonna see you in the dark. Wait until he leaves the room. He can do the Among Us and come from the vent. If you hear crawling, hide. he can go to the back of the house and break your power box. But for some reason you can fix the power box outside by replacing some random ass fuse into another power box inside. Please do not question on how the government knows about all this information on you and your house. The NSA is not watching. You have total freedom. Glory to the United States of America.
Hey, come here. What am I looking at?
Wall?
No, look, what's up? Look up. Right here.
The ceiling?
No, here. Dude, what is this?
That's a wall.
What's on the wall? What's on the wall?
The outlet?
The one above the outlet.
The ceiling?
Tutor, what are you trying to do?
The vents! He's made Among Us joke as a vent!
Toma, soy el impostor. Tienen piezas movibles e intercambiables para...
He's on camera 8! One of the cameras is dead.
Wait, he's right next to us!
No,
Close!
Get in the closet!
Close the light! Close the light!
Turn on the light!
Fix the phone!
Oh, close the light! Go! Don't move! Stop moving!
Farts.
Why'd you wagtail? What the fuck? Why'd you wagtail? What the fuck?
Don't move! No, babe!
No. It was a girl, dude.
What do you mean it was a girl?
Yo, smash or pass?
Smash. Oh, I'm dead. I got taken.
How'd you die?
I don't know. I got some max anxiety.
Fix the power! I'm gonna die!
Okay, bro.
Fix the power!
Wait, he actually died?
You gotta be on the computer. You gotta play video game to lower your anxiety.
Hey, Tank, look at me.
You want a treat?
Hey, yo, there's 2 of us, one of them.
You know what? I think that's a pretty good odd.
Hello, motherfucker.
Never mind.
Yo, all the cams are dying.
Oh, come. Close the light. Why are you going? The fucking thing? You fucking bitch. Close the door.
It's okay, bro.
Hey, man.
Oh, wait, you guys respawned.
No, the intruder, he didn't like me, so he brought me back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He couldn't find someone who would buy you on the market, bro. Oh, he's at 1. Wait, he's far from us. We chilling.
Bro, who sets up security cameras inside their room?
I do.
Bro, we gotta be living in some dangerous-ass area, bro. This is like the worst part of London.
Yo, the intruder's just trying to make it off the streets, you feel me?
Oh, shit. Should we let him in?
Let him intrude, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, what if we just, like, be nice? How do we know he's coming here to hurt us?
He's here.
I don't want to be nice anymore.
Close the light.
I don't want to be in here no more.
Wait, come on, lol. It's just me.
Okay, sorry, Tuner. Hey, Tuner. Tuner's not here. Let me back in!
I don't think it was Tuner, man.
It wasn't, dude.
Oh my god, it's just Tuner.
Hey, Tuner, once you get so tall and so black, I didn't know there were surgeries out there that can do this kind of shit.
Yo, he gone?
He gone. Turn on the light and then get on the computer. Let's play Valorant.
Yeah.
Let's play Val. Yo, get on League.
Get on League. Somebody close the phone!
The
Wait, what?
phone service has
Wait.
now been restored.
Wait,
Thank you for your
we did it.
patience.
We won!
You can now start
Oh, we won?
taking calls.
You're escorted, but the intruder remains on the loose.
Yeah!
So what do we do?
Oh my god, let's hit up Uniqlo.
Girls' night! Oh my god.
Yo, let's get a Kung Fu tea, get some boba.
Yes.
Yes. I won't be some boba.
Check the camera. There's gonna be a spooky.
Yes. I won't be some boba.
Check the camera. There's gonna be a spooky.
Oh, he's in cam 7.
Is it?
You
One.
can now start
Oh, we
taking
won?
calls.
You're So what do we do?
Oh my god.
Remains on the loose.
Yeah!
So what do we do?
Oh my god, let's hit up Uniqlo.
Girls' night! Oh my god.
Yo, let's get a Kung Fu tea, get some boba.
Yes.
Yes. I won't be some boba.
Check the camera. There's gonna be a spooky.
Oh, he's in cam 7.
Is it?
He's making this goofy eye face, man. It's pretty funny.
Ice cream so good.
Oh, he's getting some McDonald's, guys. Look at cam 4. He's getting some food.
We're getting bombed!
Close that.
I'm hiding in the locker.
What the f? L-Trax, help us.
I'm in the locker, Beth.
Stop, turn it off, turn it.
Why are you guys so f***ing useless?
Dude, I'm a dog. I'm scared of loud noises.
He's in the vent. He's in the vent.
Actually, yeah, he's in the vent. He's in the vent. Yeah.
Turn the light off.
Boom! Light,
Turn the light
light.
off. Turn the light off.
Stop! Don't rush me. Don't rush me. Don't rush me.
I'm in the locker now. Come in my locker, Bloom.
You're rushed. You're so dead. You're so dead. You're so dead.
I'm good.
Yo, my anxiety going up. It's going up.
You're just scared of black people.
Oh, I see him.
You say to me, you little
Dude, he's in a... Oh, he walked away.
Chat, we're okay.
Can we get 50 likes to survive?
Ew.
Dude, he looks so retarded.
He does.
No, he's lost. He's trying to find his mom, bro. Do you know where I can find my mom?
Power out.
Chat, what do we do?
Guys, stop. The chat is not real. It's all your head.
Where's the box?
Ah, that's a good question.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, you got it?
Bro, I'm so cool.
Now I can go back and play video games.
Yo, my anxiety.
I'm about to die.
Well, look at the camera. Playing the computer will lower your anxiety, guys. Remember that.
Hey, computer.
Oh,
Come on. Guess,
sorry.
hide.
Chad, I didn't know that there was some. Okay, so. Oh my gosh. I was like this. Oh my gosh, are you serious now? You're goddamn right. You goddamn right. I actually did not. Hold on. I forgot that the chat wasn't there. Oh my gosh, what the is after? Let me just. Clicking my mouse. Okay, let's enable it. Wow! Wait a second. I saw a room that should not be in this game. What the? Break room chair. Oh my gosh! Why do you guys have two fridges in a? Why do you guys have three fridges? We only need one fridge. Okay, one fridge is enough. One fridge is enough. One fridge is enough. Nom 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 nom. It's not add two fridges because we only need one fridge in order to store our food. You could do outro again. Now we actually do it. And also, you guys are actually slamming me into a wall. Like I'm not even kidding. These ridiculous room ideas, bro. What is this room, bro? It has like only. I actually hate these room ideas. Please just stop it. And do not blame me for deleting room ideas because these room ideas are just ridiculous. Yeah, that's how you do it. Oh my gosh. I actually hate these Okay. Okay, yeah, ridiculous room ideas. Delete those rooms that are just, oh my gosh. Of room 4, type 2. What? Okay, it's tilted. That actually confused me for a second there. Room 2 ways. Nom 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 nom. Okay, it's this. Locker room 2. Ridiculous. This is a ridiculous room, bro. Stop it. Get some help. Plans room. The plans room. Okay, because I deleted a lot of rooms, I'm going to let this one live. Oh my gosh. What the actual hell is this? We're not copying rooms and doors, bro. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. But I still play this. Eternally come back. You're not going anywhere. You need to go come back. Come back. Come back. Come back. Come back. Come back. And how did you guys even make this? Like, oh my gosh. You serious right now, bro. Are we going, we can't like have this ending where just, as, where at room 99 Wednesday like open and then the door is like absolutely cracked, like the door just like delete, like or like the person just said that, like the person just said is, I do not want to go any longer, and then the door just acts weird, like in rooms and doors, and then breaks and yeah, falls through. Also, can you guys please stop making scripts because it makes me actually be like I'm getting slammed into a wall, into a wall. Yes, into a wall. Like I'm not even kidding. Like I'm not even kidding. I feel like being a fucking babe, like being a dumb bitch that is. It kind of makes me sad. Yeah, it makes me really sad. And wants me to just delete myself. Yeah, so can we make it that I look like the co-owner actually, and I'm actually the co-owner? Because else I would actually just be really racist. Auto. Let's enable auto. What happens if I... Okay, number one. And we're going to enable auto. Wow, we already got it into 25, I see. What the A15 incoming! I have lockers, but I don't want to use it. Why is this game still like so popular? I don't know why games like do not. Oh, stop. Okay, I see what you need to fix. Okay, when you play out, yeah, it breaks. Can you please accept I do not want to really do anything?
However, even if the picture and the text are separately protected by copyright law, it's important to remember the scope of said protection. First of all, even if it's found that something is directly violating the copyright of the posts, it's gonna be difficult for the original authors to come forward with a case. The original 4chan posts have long since been deleted, along with any potentially identifying information like IP addresses, and these authors are gonna have a difficult time proving that they were the ones who originally made the posts. Secondly, even if they could prove their ownership, it's probably not even worth the legal hassle. Though you don't lose copyright protection on your work if you don't enforce that protection, how vigorously you protect your work is factored into a court's judgment on the matter. For example, if you took a photograph and wrote a caption for it that was then widely circulated across image boards, YouTube, Twitter, and dedicated fan wikis for years, and you never took any action until real money came along, yeah, the judge is gonna take that into consideration. Anything you might win in damages might not even be enough to cover the legal fees. Thirdly, sure, you can copyright individual works, but you can't copyright ideas. Just because someone takes a picture of a creepy room with fluorescent lights and yellow wallpaper doesn't mean that they're the only one with copyright to that aesthetic, and that no one can ever take another picture of a creepy room with fluorescent lights and yellow wallpaper. The copyright protection of this original Backrooms photograph is limited to this single photograph. So yeah, if Kane wants to use this exact specific image in his series or movie, sure, that might be a problem, but he clearly hasn't done that. He's created entirely new imagery for his videos, and as for the text, sure, these two sentences and the way that they express their ideas are protected by copyright, but the ideas themselves, they're not protected. Even something specific like the word Backrooms, which Kane took from the post to use as the name of the series, wouldn't be protected here. Why? Well, you can't copyright names, titles, words, or short phrases. That kind of stuff falls under the domain of trademarks, another thing that we cover in more detail over in that Winnie the Pooh video. Additionally, the word and idea of a backroom, you know, a room in the back of a business or office or whatever, has existed long before that 4chan post, so it's not exactly something you could just decide is yours because you took a picture or thought of a spooky story. Obviously, Kane lifted the general vibe of the Backrooms from the original image and caption, the yellow wallpaper, fluorescent light, liminal spaces, all that jazz. He also took the general idea of the Backrooms being huge and full of weird stuff. And again, just to clear up any ambiguity here, Kane admits that he was very much inspired by the post.
I was vaguely aware of the Backrooms, or I was aware of it in terms of the original image and the caption that I saw on Instagram 2 years before.
Other than that, though, not a whole lot here sticks. Plenty of ideas are reminiscent of content from the original Backrooms post or the Backrooms wiki. People in Kane's series fall into Backrooms in a way that seems visually similar to no-clipping, but Kane has never once used the word no-clipping to describe that process in his canon. Sometimes, strange noises that sound like a party can be heard in Kane's videos, which could be a reference to the party-goers from the wiki's canon. But again, Kane has never brought the actual partygoers or their lore into his world. Even ideas like the size of the Backrooms in Kane's series aren't one-to-one with the original post. Sure, Kane's Backrooms are big, but it's never once specifically mentioned to be 600 million square miles like the original post described it. Pretty much the only things that Kane took from that original post are the yellow vibe, the idea of falling into and getting lost, and the words, the Backrooms. Most everything else in these videos are entirely original creations of Kane's. The organization Async and their goals, Project KV-31 and the portal into the Backrooms, the bacteria monster,
Lifeform Fellow.
Lifeform Fellow.
Yeah, sorry guys, you gotta update the wiki.
Sorry, the Lifeform Fellow? Sure. Well, anyway, that was still Kane's. The long and short of it is that he's more than in the clear to make a film about the original story that he's crafted. But see, Kane's not the person I'm worried about in this episode.
Gestern Abend habe ich mir was gewünscht von einem Stern. Und der Stern hat geantwortet.
Oh my god.
After all of this research into copyright law, the quirks of anonymity, and who owns what in this circumstance, he's gonna be fine. He's well within his legal rights to partner with A24 and make this movie, and I'm excited to see what comes of it. No, I'm more worried about us. You, me, and all those small creators out there. What concerns me now is what this movie is gonna mean for the sorts of crowdsourced online horror stories that the Backrooms represents. I fear that this could spell disaster for these sorts of stories. Why? Well, because even if Kane and A24 are in the clear to make their Backrooms movie, they're likely gonna want to protect that film to the letter of the law. Now, don't misunderstand me. I don't think that Kane is gonna be going after people for making their own original Backrooms content. I don't think he wants to do that. He has been nothing but a kind and thoughtful guy every time that we've interacted. And even in that interview with Anthony, he explained his thoughts on the whole communal ownership of ideas thing.
On the internet, everyone owns everything. Even if legally they don't, it feels like you do, and in practice you do. I don't have an issue with that. I like that. That's a good thing.
That right there, that is a great way to look at projects like the Backrooms. No, the problem here isn't gonna be coming from Kane, it's gonna be coming from the studios. See, making the jump from online video to major motion picture involves a lot of money. A lot of money. In budget, sure, but also in potential returns from movie ticket sales and merch.
Merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made.
If you go and look up the highest grossing media franchises of all time, you'll see that the lion's share of their revenue actually comes from the merch. It's true for Pokemon, Star Wars, Mickey Mouse, Winnie the Pooh, Minecraft, and if this Backrooms movie's a hit, I could absolutely see this sort of thing happening here too. Just imagine, hazmat guy action figures, Lifeform fellow plushies. Kane may or may not be interested in this part of the show business, but the Hollywood producers he's working with definitely are. And that means that they're gonna want to protect their IP vigorously so they're the ones making that money. I mean, this exact scenario has happened before. Y'all remember Slender Man? He's a pillar of online creepypasta folklore, and just like the Backrooms, everyone felt like they owned a part of Slender Man. And at the beginning, things definitely operated that way. That's why you saw so many free, low-budget indie projects centered on the Slender Man, Slender the 8 Pages, Marble Hornets. But once the idea of Slender Man became a phenomenon and caught the attention of larger media companies, when real money started to get involved, things changed. Eric Knudsen, the original creator of Slender Man, had to step up to stop shady, low-quality content from destroying his idea. He became more involved in for-profit projects like Slender the Arrival, and eventually he sold the rights to the character entirely to Mythology Entertainment, who went on to block independent crowd-funded movies from release and then made their own big-budget film with Sony Pictures. Again, I cannot stress enough how much I don't think Kane wants this to happen, but when you're dealing with Hollywood, this sort of stuff becomes inevitable. What then do we do here, loyal theorists? If the Backrooms film is successful, I don't want there to be some sort of gold rush of all these major movie studios trying to take their claim on any and every viral creepypasta and internet folklore. Does anyone really want or need the EA-funded Jeff the Killer game, a Universal Studios Ben Drowned movie, a Lavender Town Netflix miniseries? I don't think so. Thankfully, there are ways to protect yourself, your work, and your favorite content creators using the exact same copyright laws that got us started down this road in the first place. First and foremost, if you create something and post it online, make sure you sign it. Make sure that it's attributed to you, either with your real name or an online alias that you can prove is yours. That way, people know that this was your work from the second that you uploaded it. It is unambiguously yours, and your creative rights are protected by copyright. I mean, that's why they're there after all, might as well put them to use. And on top of this, make sure that you're posting to platforms that respect those rights, and don't have anything shady hidden in their end user license agreements that somehow transfer any ownership of content posted there to their website. You'd actually be surprised how many fairly large websites have clauses like this, and that is really not cool. Next, if you can, create your own characters and use your own ideas. Obviously, those will always belong to you, and no one's gonna be able to use that content without your approval. That being said, it can be difficult, so third, if you do want to build off of something that already exists, make sure that what you're building off of is either in the public domain or it's basic enough that what you contribute will clearly be yours. What am I talking about? Well, some of it's obvious. If you want to write stories about ancient mythology, folklore, fairy tales, stuff like Thor or the Baba Yaga or the Little Mermaid, you are almost certainly in the clear, as long as what you write isn't taken from other modern interpretations.
Okay. Was für dich?
I am trapped down here. All the exits are closed and it's after me. I don't know if anyone will ever see this, but you need to know that... You need to know...
Oh, that fucking jump scared me.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that reminds you to never trespass on private property because you might just get stuck in an analog horror series. Ladies and gentlemen, Kane Pixels has done it again, taking a break from working on his Backrooms feature film to give us a brand new series known as The Oldest View. And while the series certainly draws a lot of ideas and inspiration from Kane's Backrooms videos, something that the series itself calls out,
This is literally like the Backrooms from TikTok.
it is still very much its own thing. In case you've missed this one, The Oldest View is a more cinematic piece than Kane's previous Backrooms videos, combining his trademark found footage style with a couple of scenes that are more traditionally shot. In the series, we find ourselves behind the camera of a college YouTube vlogger named Wyatt. In what starts off as a normal hiking vlog, Wyatt takes us to this weird hole that he found at the base of a large tree, revealing a staircase that descends straight down into the earth and out of sight. And as any good YouTuber would, Wyatt decides to enter this obviously dangerous, mysterious stairwell, all in pursuit of that sweet, sweet content. At the bottom, almost a mile underground, he finds something completely unexpected, an abandoned shopping mall. But unfortunately for Wyatt, though the mall's devoid of human life, he isn't alone. Slowly, he's stalked by a mysterious monster, a large papier-mâché statue on wheels pulled straight out of the uncanny valley. A statue who seems to hate the fact that his home has been disturbed. Let me tell you, I wasn't sure that Kane was going to be able to recapture the mysterious and horrific lightning in a bottle that he found with the Backrooms, but it's been a while since a piece of media like this has kept me at the edge of my seat. And of course, just like with the Backrooms, Kane has packed this thing to the gills with tons of hidden lore and blink and you'll miss it references. In other words, it was practically begging for an episode. The questions here are just too intriguing not to dive into. What is The Oldest View really about? What's with this rolling giant thing and why is it stalking an abandoned mall? Heck, what even is the deal with that mall and why is it a mile underground? Well, when you actually stop and do the research, underneath the layers of analog horror is a touching story about longing for the past and how to embrace nostalgia without getting consumed by it. And the craziest part, all of it is told through the lens of real people, real places, and real history. Yeah, the monster here, it really exists. So grab your camera phones and let's go to the mall, loyal theorists. It's time we head down the stairs into The Oldest View. So I feel like the best place to start is with a quick recap of the events that we see in the series itself. The first episode is a bit of a strange one, given Kane's previous releases. It's a lot more atmospheric and traditionally cinematic than his previous work with the Backrooms. We open in a forest. Here we see a man walking around picking flowers and scribbling in a small notebook. But what's interesting is that while the forest around him is bustling with life, full of the green color that you'd expect to find in the woods, the man himself is black and white, literally monochromatic. That said, we don't stick around with this guy long, quickly cutting to scenes of someone's terrifying arts and crafts project, eventually creating an ominous mask. Wonder if that one's gonna come up again. Spoiler alert, it does. The second and third episodes take on a style a lot closer to what we've been used to, putting us in the shoes of Wyatt, the YouTube vlogger that we mentioned at the top of the episode.
What's up, guys? Wyatt here.
Wyatt takes his viewers down the mysterious stairwell that he found in the middle of nowhere, descending down and out of sight before eventually finding himself in that abandoned mall. After exploring around for a bit, Wyatt finds that all the stores are closed and that the exits of the mall just lead out to rock walls. But while it seems Wyatt is alone at first, he eventually runs into this nightmare fuel. And this isn't just some weird modern art piece. This creature, known as the Rolling Giant, starts to follow Wyatt around the mall, an inanimate object somehow coming to life and stalking him.
I'm leaving. I'm trying to leave.
Deciding that the views just aren't going to be worth it, Wyatt heads back to the stairs where he entered, only to find that he's been caved in. He's trapped in here with this murderous papier-mâché monster and only a few options. While running from the creature, Wyatt finds himself in the mall's backroom hallways, eventually leading to an office space that has a map of the mall and directions to another exit. But as Wyatt leaves the office backrooms and heads back into the main part of the mall, it's changed. It's become overgrown by plants and wildlife. Undeterred, Wyatt begins climbing for the exit that he found on the map. Unfortunately, the rafters collapse and Wyatt falls, only for the episode to once again shift into a more cinematic, atmospheric scene, similar to those of the first episode. Here, we see Wyatt's corpse and broken phone laying in the dirt of the same forest from the beginning, as the giant looks on, hidden in the trees. So, what the heck's going on with this thing? Well, the way I see it, there are three main mysteries in the series so far. Number one, what's up with the mall? Number two, what is this monster supposed to be? And number three, what's it all trying to tell us? So let's just do our best to break down what we can, starting with what's going on in the mall. Almost immediately after discovering it, Wyatt finds a sign designating this as Valley View Center. There are also a bunch of references to the city of Dallas, Texas.
I keep seeing
Dallas show up?
I thought this was a really strange and specific detail, so we did a bit of digging. We found that the Valley View Center is actually a very real place that actually existed in Dallas, Texas. But we should also note that the series clearly doesn't take place in Dallas, and likely not in Texas at all. First off, the flora and landscape in the outdoor area that we see towards the beginning of Wyatt's vlogs looks a lot more like what you'd expect to find in Central California. This absolutely makes sense when you consider that Kane is from that part of California, but it's not just a production decision. As Wyatt's exploring the mall, he himself seems to think it's weird that he keeps seeing signs for Dallas everywhere.
I keep seeing Dallas show up, but I'm not sure if it's talking about the city. But I've seen like 2 Texas shops, and it's on a lot of signs.
So right off the bat, that's pretty darn weird, right? What's this mall from Dallas, Texas doing in California? And maybe more importantly, why is it underground? Well, it's important to note that the Valley View Center doesn't actually exist anymore. Just like most other malls in the US, the Valley View Center was hit hard by the 2000s, thanks in large part to online shopping and companies like Amazon taking much of their business. By 2012, the mall was bought out by an investment group called Beck Ventures, who didn't plan to save the dying mall, but instead demolish it and rebuild the land into a completely different shopping district known as Dallas Midtown. In fact, you can see part of Beck's plan to do this inside of the oldest view.
What the fuck did
As
you just
Wyatt's
say?
exploring the office space, you can spot several artistic renderings and publicity images displayed on one of the walls that he walks by. The very same ones that you can find in real life if you go to the actual website for the Dallas Midtown project. See, side by side there? They are one and the same. Why is that a big deal? Well, it's at this point that we should stop and acknowledge that because this building was entirely demolished earlier this year, it means that everything we see inside the oldest view here is 100% CGI. Everything from the giant AMC to the name 8 vegetables that start with B sign, all painstakingly recreated digitally. And if the comments from Dallas locals are any indication, he did a bang-up job of bringing their memories to life. I don't just bring that up to show how impressive Kane's work here is. He chose this specific mall and these specific assets on the walls for reasons. And it all comes down to the rolling giant that stalks Wyatt throughout the video. Why? Well, this leads us to mystery number 2. What's the deal with the monster? Follow me here. Like most cities do, Dallas is no stranger to gassing up their local celebrities that either came from the city or helped put the city on the map. But while most other cities would just leave it at building statues or naming buildings after that famous person, Dallas does something a little bit different with their metaphorical giants. They turn them into literal giants. See, in 2012, a group of local artists in Dallas organized something they called the Parade of Giants, where many famous Dallasonians from the city's past would be lovingly recreated as large statues. Statues that would then get rolled through the streets. You see where I'm going with this one, right? At the same time as the Parade of Giants, before the Valley View Center was sold and demolished, many of its storefronts were rented to local artists to showcase their work in a push known as the Gallery at Midtown.
This has become a haven for local Dallas artists while this mall is undergoing a transition.
Something we see referenced not only on the first sign that Wyatt comes across, but also all across the mall. One of these artists was Kevin Obregon. We can actually see his studio among others as Wyatt strolls across the mall. And the giant that he created for the parade? Yep, it is one and the same with the giant that we see stalking Wyatt throughout the mall. A statue who was the literal poster child for the Parade of Giants. So if these statues are meant to be real people important to Dallas history, who is this giant based on? Well, according to the description for the 3rd episode, the creature is credited to Obregon and named the Julien Reverchon Giant. If you didn't know, and I mean, why would you know this? Julien Reverchon was a botanist, someone who studies plants, born in France in 1837. Now, those factoids right there should already be connecting some dots for you. Firstly, the giant itself seems to be made of plants. Notice those massive plant-like hands. Secondly, the stairwell down to this creepy abandoned mall, it was found at the base of a large tree, again showing a connection with plants. And finally, our point of view character Wyatt, what's he studying in college again? Oh yeah, botany.
I was able to get a couple of trail cameras from my old botany professor.
Clearly there's meant to be a connection here, and perhaps this is a clue as to why the mall is so far underground beneath a tree. It is the roots to our story. Anyway, in 1856, Julien Reverchon and his father moved to the US, heading for a settlement called La Reunion, which is now Dallas, Texas. Unfortunately, travel took ages back in the 1800s, and by the time they eventually got there, La Reunion had basically collapsed. Instead of just turning around though and heading back to France, Reverchon stuck around and joined the nearby community of Dallas back when it was only a few hundred farmers. And from there, he was pretty instrumental in the development of Dallas into the metropolis that it is today. day, becoming something of a local celebrity while expanding his plant collections and teaching others about botany at Baylor University College. Reverchon Park in the city was even named after Julien after he died. Reverchon is clearly an important person to this story. Not only is this creature based on a real sculpture of the guy, but it isn't the only time that he shows up. During the third episode, when Wyatt returns to the store that he found the giant in, there's a portrait of a man in one of the storefronts, labeled Julien Reverchon. In front of it is a single twig with leaves on it, a nod to the giant and Reverchon's career as a botanist. Finally, Reverchon is also our connection to the mysterious man in the first episode of The Oldest View. Remember that guy? The dude stuck in black and white while the rest of the forest is green? Well, on IMDb, the character is credited as Julien Reverchon. He's the dude who's out here existing in nature, picking flowers, scribbling in his notebook, doing his general botanisty things, which brings us then to mystery number 3. Why? What does any of this even mean? This series clearly has a lot of very
Since when did bro know my language? Do you know my language? Bro, stop making fun of me.
very specific, very regional references to real-world people, events, and history. This stuff was not put here on accident. This isn't meant to be a bunch of Easter eggs or random decisions. This all means something, and I think we can decipher it starting here, in the back rooms of the mall. While in the office, Wyatt finds himself a piece of paper that describes fire safety protocols for the Valley View Center. It is very detailed. It even refers to several other documents with numbers on them, each with a specific purpose. But if you break down the numbers, they all have hidden meanings. They're all dates that describe very specific periods of time. Document 1855-1857 can be broken down into the years 1855 and 1857, the exact date range that the La Réunion settlement outside of Dallas existed. Remember, this was the place that Reverchon was leaving France for, before the community collapsed and Reverchon was forced to move to Dallas. The next document, 1973-2023, refers to the dates 1973 to 2023. If you dig into the history of the Valley View Center Mall, you'll find that it was first built in 1973, and that the last remnant of it was demolished earlier this year in 2020. Out in all directions.
On planet Earth, life has thrived for millions of years. Creatures big and small have found ways to adapt and evolve to flourish in all types of environments. But recently, things have changed. New life forms have started to appear, strange fleshless creatures made of pure meat. They have taken many forms, some delicious, some dangerous. But one thing is clear about this new addition to the natural order. We humans are about to be put into some delicious, some dangerous. But one thing is clear about this new addition to the natural order. We humans are about to be put into the grinder.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that just found itself a new pet.
Oh,
poor baby!
You and I had very different reactions.
I feel like this is a squishmallow waiting to happen. Oh, just look at this guy. He's adorable. I just want to give his little fleshy head a pat and... Wait, what's that little guy? What? You want everyone to subscribe? Oh, come on now, guys. How can you say no to this little face? By the way, do you guys like protein? A nice steak? Come on now, guys. How can you say no to this little face? By the way, do you guys like protein? A nice steak that would look great on a plate, in a pie, sewn into a dress? Well, do I have a surprise for you, friends? It is Meat Weekend, loyal theorists. That's right. It's our very first four-way crossover for the Theory channels. And we all thought, what is something that truly unites the worlds of gaming, film, food, and style? And then it hit us in the face like a wet, sloppy slab of beef. Meat! And thus, Mystery Meat Weekend was born, baby. Yep, over on Game Theory, you can see us cover the latest round of Merge Mansion lore, where Grandma Ursula's filling her pies with some unconventional choices of meat. Just hope that Pedro Pascal makes it out alive. Meanwhile, over on Food Theory, we're looking into the very real science behind mammoth meatballs. Yep, you heard that one right. Scientists have cloned the meat of extinct woolly mammoths. And the first thing that we humans did, we decided to cook it up and put it in our mouths. Sounds pretty darn accurate. Speaking of putting things in our mouth holes, over decided to cook it up and put it in our mouths. Sounds pretty darn accurate. Speaking of putting things in our mouth holes, over on Style Theory, we're covering whether or not you can eat. Sounds pretty darn accurate. The first thing that we humans did, we decided to cook it up and put it in our mouths. Sounds pretty darn accurate. Speaking of putting things in our mouth holes, over on Style Theory, we're covering whether or not you could eat Lady Gaga's infamous meat dress. Because if you are what you eat, then why not eat what you wear? Yeah, making a dress out of meat, that was pretty darn weird, but not nearly as weird as what we're about to cover here today on Film Theory. You see, today we're talking about the strange, thick, meaty world of Vita Carnis.
The next species on our list is the meat snake.
Oh, great. Okay.
When you're underconfident about your meat snake.
It's just really cold outside, okay?
Yes, we here at Team Theorist are indeed a bunch of mature adults. A ton of people were recommending that we check this series out over on our subreddit and in the comments on GT Live. So if you ever have yourself a suggestion for content like this that you want us to look at, those are two great places to go make those recommendations. And I am really glad that you guys put this one on our radar. This is an analog horror series that you can go watch right now for free on youtube.com. Created by artist and filmmaker Darian Quilloy. But unlike pretty much all other analog horror series, Vita Carnis isn't leaning into uncanny liminal strangeness like The Backrooms, or weird twisted doppelgangers like Mandela Catalog, or even nostalgic mascot horror like pretty much everything else. Instead, the creep factor here is coming from horrifying creature design. Vita Carnis is the story of weird meat-based creatures that have started appearing in nature. And let me just say this one up front, this is one of the most original analog horror series that I've seen in a long time. The monsters are made of flesh and eat bones, but they also grow like plants. It's a very cool idea. In the series, we learn most of our information through documentary tapes filled with strange glitches, but there's also archived home videos and newspaper clippings thrown in for good measure. And where there's creepy hidden details, you know that there's plenty of lore to decode. In short, I devoured my time with Vita Carnis. And let me tell you, the deeper and deeper we get into this documentary, the more pieces of the puzzle that start falling into place. Where is this mystery meat coming from? Why is the government trying to cover it all up? And is there anything that we can do to stop what seems to be our inevitable trip to the meat grinder? Season your food and ready your meat snakes, friends. Today we've got ourselves a lot to chew on. So to start things off, what exactly is going on? As I mentioned at the top of the theory, the bulk of Vita Carnis' story is told through a documentary put together by the National Living Meat Research to educate the public, and by extension us, about the creatures in this new genus of skinless animals made out of muscle, organs, and bones. They're called Vita Carnis, Latin for living meat.
Aren't we all just alive meat?
Right? I feel like this is just stating a statement of facts. Like, oh yeah, you're living meat.
And not only do they look like raw meat, they also love to consume raw meat. Obviously not a concern for all us fleshy meat sacks out there. As the story goes, these creatures basically appeared out of nowhere starting in 1931, and their population quickly skyrocketed over the subsequent decades. The documentary is quick to point out that
the origins of these creatures are solely to Earth, miraculously out of nowhere,
seemingly ruling out that they're aliens or demons or any other classic analog horror fare. In fact, their taxonomy is really well laid out across these videos. The Vita Carnis genus is split into several species, some cute, some useful, and some literal nightmare fuel that'll get you second-guessing your next hike out into nature. In fact, the more we hear about each of these types of critters, the more the dark truth of this world starts coming into focus. The first few creatures are weird, but more or less benign. The most abundant of these is known as the crawl, which are these sort of vines that resemble intestines, growing across the entire world. This stuff is edible, and apparently makes for a good meat substitute, to the point that it's been domesticated and used in several popular in-universe meals. In fact, one of the videos on the channel is a tutorial on how to create a cheesy pasta dish using the crawl.
Today's dish will be a cheesy crawl penne.
Watch out, boys! Looks like we have ourselves another new entrant in the Babish culinary universe. The second type of creature is known as trimmings. These things grow from the crawl, fall off, and then start skittering around on their own. They're basically sad little flesh turtles that run, hide, and scream. Next up is my personal favorite of the bunch, the meat snake.
Look at this one-eyed monster.
Yeah, what can I say? I just love myself some meat snake. According to the lore, these things are basically dead body garbage disposals, crawling around and eating dead carcasses, animal or otherwise. And in what might be one of the coolest bits of creature design that I've seen from an analog horror series in a while, they take the skulls of the creatures they consume and then use them as their own. Normally, these things are only supposed to grow up to 5 meters or 16 feet, which is already pretty darn long, but astute viewers can actually find a hidden newspaper clipping that confirms that they can grow to be much larger. larger. After World War II, a quote, extremely engorged meat snake of impeccable size, their words not mine, was discovered in a tunnel underneath Germany, which consumed so many dead bodies from the war that it grew to 8 times the average length. The skin of this behemoth was also more powerful. It was darker and harder than a normal meat snake. I don't know how much of this is actual lore and how much of this is just trolling. Anyway, the scientists who found it had a lot of difficulty cutting through the meat snake. And with that, it's here that the creatures of Vita Carnis take a hard right turn away from weirdly cute with funny names into pure distilled nightmare fuel. Next up, we got ourselves the Mimic, which are exactly what they sound like. Humanoid creatures with creepy smiles, bulging eyes, extended limbs, and a diet composed of human flesh.
Oh! Oh, jeez. I did not expect that at all.
These puppies are fast too. The more humans they eat, the more human they look, and the darker their skin becomes. That last part sounds like a weird detail, but now that's the second time that we've heard it mentioned, so feels like an important detail to keep in the back of our minds. Mimics will pick out a target, use clothing to disguise themselves, or even go so far as to hide in the furniture in an attempt to capture their prey. Don't know how a tall, lanky flesh monster is gonna be hiding in the family beanbag chair, but sure, we'll just go for it. And yet, despite the massive threat that this thing poses to humankind, it doesn't really seem that there's all that much being done about it. Sure, apparently the world governments have offered advice to their citizens, but it all really amounts to, don't die, lol.
Because of the obvious threat this poses on humanity, nations around the world have released instructions on how to be able to fend for yourself in a mimic encounter. Here are the instructions.
The horror only continues with the next creature too, called the Harvester. These are large masses of flesh that plant themselves in the earth and then extend roots out in all directions. But unlike typical crawl, these roots have literal thorns in them that'll stab into any large animal that walks on them. The worst part of all this, the thorns are full of venom that disable the nervous system and prevent a victim's blood from clotting, which means that they're gonna kill him from blood loss so the body can then be consumed. And if all of that wasn't bad enough, there's apparently no way of surviving this.
If you are stung by a harvester, there will be no way of helping you, being that there is no cure, and fatality is 100% positive.
We later see and hear what a death by harvester is like in the video Species Anomaly Report, and let me tell ya, it is not pleasant. Now, normally at this point in the script, I'd insert a little clip here to help illustrate my point, but let me tell you, it's rough, even for me. Just take my word for it, it is scary stuff, as if we needed more reasons to not go and touch grass. And then we have what might be the creepiest of these freak shows, the Host of Influence. Creatures with semi-humanoid torsos and masses of vines that burrow into the ground. Spines extend from their backs, releasing clouds of orange spores.
I'm just watching stuff. No, I'm not watching stuff. Other stuff.
And then his mouth opened up and he had these jaws. Next thing I know, a sharp. And then his mouth opened up and he had these jaws. Next thing I know, a sharp tongue shot out of his mouth and stabbed him right through the eye.
Can you describe who you saw?
Well, he was short, 2 stubby legs, little oval-shaped visor, kind of round at the top. Had a cute backpack.
Yeah, sure, we all look like that. What I'm interested in is his color. What color was he?
Excuse me, what?
His color. What was his color?
I do not see the world that way, and I am more than a bit offended that you would ask me a superficial question like that.
This is literally a world where we're all identified by our color.
Well, some of us like to think that we should be judged on the merit of our actions and not the color of our suits. Maybe one day you'll understand that. Good day, sir.
We lost our key witness. Let him go, boys.
It's red.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, where the only sussy thing is not brutally murdering that subscribe button. Whoa, what are we doing here? An Among Us video? What is this, like 2020? Nope, no need to check the date on your watch page, loyal theorists. Today we're jumping back onto the Skeld with a new video on everyone's favorite multiplayer deduction game, Among Us. Why now, of all times? Honestly, it's because of the new Netflix movie, Glass Onion. There's an Among Us joke in like the first 10 minutes.
Blanc, I saw you go in the engine room.
You're the imposter. We all know it.
You're thrown out of the airlock. It's a no-brainer.
I don't understand this at all.
Nothing like a shirtless Daniel Craig in a bathtub to help rekindle interest in your franchise, am I right? And not only is Among Us front and center, but for all us high IQ gamers, the short scene actually spoils a lot of the key plot points for the main mystery of the movie. To find out how exactly, we actually did a short on this over on Film Theory that you should go check out. Anyway, all that was enough to get me to pick up the game once again. And when I did, I was struck by one huge detail that we'd overlooked in our past theories on how to win the game. A detail that is perhaps the highest IQ strategy of them all. The one crucial detail that makes a massive difference in any match that you're playing, even before the imposter is selected, your color. You see, every single emergency meeting, you always hear a single phrase uttered. The iconic meme, red is sus. It has its own Urban Dictionary page, it's got its own t-shirt. Heck, it's even got its own 38 million view song from the channel Shiloh and Bros. In a game that's all about avoiding detection and not raising suspicion, hearing those words is practically a death sentence. So of course, it got my theorist cogs a-turnin'. Is red indeed sus? Well, obviously the actions of the player in the game are gonna have a massive impact on whether they're suspected or not. There are also a lot of subconscious variables that play in every match. Factors that affect the way that the game is gonna go even before the imposter is chosen. Appearances do matter, and that's gonna affect everything from job interviews in the real world to games of Among Us. And color is immediately one of the first traits to see, which begs the question, is red actually the sussiest color in Among Us? What color is most likely to draw suspicion if you're the imposter? And best of all, what color choice is going to be the best at throwing off suspicion so your name isn't tossed around during the next emergency meeting? Strap in, theorists, because I'm about to blow this whole airlock wide open. Now, I'm sure we're all familiar with the phrase, never judge a book by its cover, right? There's just one problem with that. It is fundamentally opposed to our programming as human beings. We are designed to make snap judgments based on
I'm on YouTube.
Who is Capo Mouse?
Look into the Capo
Rooms? What?
Capo Mouse is just one of my friends, you know. Just don't ask any questions that are really weird. It's just one of my friends. Just don't ask.
He will ban me again.
What?
He will ban me again.
He's not a fucking banner, bro. He didn't fucking ban you last time. He is not the banner. And yeah, you're somehow stupid or something?
No.
So I'm gonna turn my microphone off and yeah.
I actually wanna leave this server.
But you're making a big mistake.
Why? It's U20 server. I hate U20.
Okay, then get out of here. I'm a kick you.
No, sorry.
No. Well, that explains it.
immediate appearances. It is essentially a leftover survival instinct. If something looks dangerous, it's best to avoid it for our own survival. And one of the first factors that we're gonna process is color. Color psychology is the study of how colors affect human.
Stellen Sie sich vor, die Automatisierung der Fertigung wäre einfach. Wir stellen vor, Vention, eine Plattform zum Entwerfen, Automatisieren, Bestellen und Bereitstellen von Fertigungsanlagen innerhalb weniger Tage. Entwerfen Sie automatisierte Anlagen und Roboterzellen in wenigen Minuten mit Machine Builder. Ziehen Sie modulare Komponenten wie Extrusionsprofile, Förderbänder und Roboterarme per Drag and Drop direkt in Ihren Entwurf. Programmieren Sie Ihre Anlagen codefrei mit Machine Logic und simulieren sie direkt in Ihrem Browser. Überprüfen Sie Ihre automatisch erstellte Stückliste und bestellen Sie mit wenigen Klicks. Verfolgen Sie den Status Ihrer Bestellung und erhalten Sie Ihre Teile innerhalb weniger Tage. Stellen Sie Ihre Maschine mit Plug-and-Play-Funktionalität bereit. Beginnen Sie noch heute mit der Umgestaltung Ihrer Fabrikhalle mit Vention.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that spent years trying to convince you that your favorite video game characters are all evil imposters. And today, I'm taking it to its logical conclusion by convincing you that all your loved ones are also evil imposters. That's right, today we're covering Among Us, a $5 indie game from 2018 That's right, today we're covering Among Us, a $5 indie game from 2018 that, over the past few weeks, has blown up in a huge way. Seriously, as I'm writing this on the first week of September, it is the second most watched game on Twitch. Bigger than Fortnite, bigger than Fall Guys, and only just behind League of Legends, which, gotta say, good on you, League, for staying so strong for so very long. Among Us is a social deduction game where your goal is to root out the killers hidden in your group. Basically, it's like Werewolf or Mafia, except it's 10 times cooler since now you're in space! The game takes place over a series of rounds where you wander around a science station as either a crew member trying to complete science tasks or as an imposter who's secretly trying to sabotage the station and kill the crew. You alternate between gameplay and meetings, which can be called whenever someone finds a dead body. The meetings are the real heart and soul of the game, since those are the times when everyone hops on a voice chat to try and figure out who the imposters are before holding a vote to pick someone to throw out into the airlock, or throw into the lava, or just push to their death. The crew wins if they manage to kill all the imposters or complete all the tasks on the station, and the imposters win if they manage to kill enough crew members that the imposters outnumber them. Long story short, it's a game all about deception, murder, and twist reveals, which means it lends itself to some pretty incredible online video reactions. Disguised Toast, he's probably my current favorite.
We vote toast first.
What? Ray! No! No! But today isn't about over-the-top reactions, or secret lore, or how this game further fuels our distrust of fellow human beings. No, I've played this game a lot. A lot. I mean, you've all just adopted Among Us, but I was born in it, molded by games like it. And being the overly competitive nerd that I am, I've kept track of my win-loss records in this style of social deduction game. It's at 87%. Not perfect by any means, but with me on the winning side far more often than chance. And while playing Among Us, it stayed around the same rate. There are obviously some more complications in this game than the usual Mafia or Werewolf scenario, but at the end of the day, regardless of what side I'm playing on, I have a pretty proven winning strategy that I've worked on for years, and one that continues to function really well in Among Us. All these other jelly beans online dealing with strategies in the 200 to 400 IQ range, ha! If you're playing like a theorist, we're talking about strats in the 1000 IQ range. So today, I'm teaching you the perfect strategy for Among Us. How to win regardless of what side you're on. And it all boils down to one thing: game theory. That's right, the namesake of this show. So, are you ready to start winning like a theorist? Then let's begin. So, Game Theory. It isn't just the name of a really awesome online show that you should totally be subscribed to. The phrase actually originates as the study of constructing mathematical models to analyze strategic interactions among people trying to make rational decisions. That is a really boring definition for what's otherwise a really cool concept. It's basically the with me on the winning side far more often than chance. And while playing Among Us, it stayed around the same rate. There are obviously some more complications in this game than the usual Mafia or Werewolf scenario, but at the end of the day, regardless of what side I'm playing on, I have a pretty proven winning strategy that I've worked on for years, and one that continues to function really well in Among Us. All these other jelly beans online dealing with strategies in the 200 to 400 IQ range, ha! If you're playing like a theorist, we're talking about strats in the 1000 IQ range. So today, I'm teaching you the perfect strategy for Among Us. How to win regardless of what side you're on. And it all boils down to one thing: game theory. That's right, the namesake of this show. So, are you ready to start winning like a theorist? Then let's begin. So, Game Theory. It isn't just the name of a really awesome online show that you should totally be subscribed to. The phrase actually originates as the study of constructing mathematical models to analyze strategic interactions among people trying to make rational decisions. That is a really boring definition for what's otherwise a really cool concept. It's basically the gameplay of Among Us. When you're in a situation where people are gonna lie and manipulate information for their own gain, game theory is there to help you figure out what to do. And the first thing I gotta tell you to do, my friends, in this game theory about game theory is kill people. Yeah, I know it sounds harsh, but let's face it, this channel is at its best when people are dying by the boatload. But the same holds true for your win-loss stats in Among Us. Because there will always be more crew members than imposters, any economist should be able to tell you the basic consequences of that. Imposters, being more scarce, need to treat their lives as more valuable than those of the crew members, who are more abundant. If you're in a 10-player game and a crew member dies, the crew has only lost 12.5% of their team. But if an imposter dies, suddenly they've lost 50% of their team. Might seem like an obvious fact, but it actually comes with several consequences for how you should be playing the game strategically. For one thing, it means that crew members should be looking for opportunities when they can trade their lives for imposter lives. And it means that imposters should be trying to avoid getting themselves into these kinds of situations. Now, written that way, it's a bit confusing, but it becomes a lot more clear in an example. Let's say that it's early in the game, and a crew member, say, I don't know, Alpha Rad, has stumbled onto another crew member.
O2 is out again.
I've got it.
Be careful out there.
We'll watch out for you.
Do you receive me?
We've got you, Blue.
Hey, I don't feel good about this.
Move, Blue! Move! Someone's coming for you! Get out of there! Blue! 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 He's gone. He's gone.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that's... Hold on.
Das ist Nora. Nora arbeitet auf dem Bau. Doch eigentlich träumt sie davon, Krankenpfleger.
Sorry, I've been having a lot of issues around the Theorist Station lately. Anyway, after doing our first Among Us video, I received the following comment on my second. Bruh, stop milking this. Yeah, me doing 2 videos about the biggest trending game right now is really milking the title. So anyway, today I'm doing a 3rd video about Among Us. And yeah, today is about the lore of this game, because there is a greater story being told here. And let me warn you, it's not a pretty one. This is a game where canonically you lose. Your best interrogation skills, your mastery of 900 IQ strats, your sussing out of the most sus suspects, all for nothing. You will die. Your friends will die. Your loved ones will all die. There is no winning in Among Us. Don't believe me? Stay tuned. As we're told by the official developer's website, Among Us is a game where you're an astronaut crew member that must, quote, attempt to hold your spaceship together and return back to civilization, with the stipulation that one crewmate has been replaced by a parasitic shapeshifter. So, apologies to all the posters over in the Game Theorist subreddit proposing ideas like, what if there was no imposter, but instead was a paranoid crew member going on a killing spree? Well, I like that headcanon, I_exist_yay! A lot of upvotes does not necessarily a confirmed theory make. The official website saying that one of the people on board is a parasitic shapeshifter is kinda hard to argue your way out of. Also, if the word of the devs isn't enough to go on, well, I'm not sure what other explanation we have for the fact that one of the kill animations involves the imposter's chest opening up to reveal an alien mouth with a spiked tongue that impales its victims. No amount of psychopathy is making that one happen. Also, the parasitic alien explanation takes care of why the imposters are able to fit into the vents while the normal crewmates aren't. And speaking of vents, Feel that cool air. I love a good working AC system. Anyway, before we continue, it's also worth pointing out that these crewmates are most likely human. Maybe that's something that you just assumed, but it's actually not as clear-cut of a conclusion as you might think. You see, we can presume that their biology is somewhat similar to ours, given that they require oxygen to breathe, they have heart rates that we see on the monitors, they have blood types just like we do, and maybe most significantly, they have vending machines full of soft drinks like Mountain Dew and electronics made by Samsung. Sorry, copyright neutral drinks like Don Dew and electronics made by Simsong. Oh, and that vending machine also includes an Easter egg reference to the developer's other game, Henry Stickmin, the energy drink. You caught that one, right? Took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out that both games were made by the same team.
Hey, imposter, see something, say something. That's so interesting. I wonder, how weird is that? There's gotta be something going on.
Anyway, the reason we need to address the questionable humanity of the crew is the fact that apparently they're 3 foot 6 inches or 1.06 meters tall, and they weigh only 92 pounds or 41.7 kilograms each, based on the info that we're getting from the medbay scanners. I mean, that is awfully short and awfully light for a typical human being. What this tells me is that Among Us is taking place far into the future, where astronauts have been specifically bred for deep space travel, or are just being selectively weeded out by size. You see, the average male height of a human being is 5 foot 6 inches tall, 1.67 meters. The average female is 5'2" or 1.57 meters. Our crewmates in Among Us are only 70% that size, and yet seem to both function as humans and be surrounded by human products. So why would our crewmates be so short? Well, the fact is, quite simply, that certain body types just work better for certain careers. Consider horse racing jockeys. A racing jockey can technically be anyone, but the most successful ones are going to weigh in at about 100 pounds or 45.3 kilograms, and also have most of that weight concentrated in strong upper bodies. For astronauts traveling on long interstellar voyages to foreign planets, it's very likely that sometime in the far, far future, we're gonna have decided that smaller astronauts are gonna yield longer, more successful trips. Why? Well, consider this. When you're traveling in deep space, not only is it gonna be a long trip, it's gonna be a very cramped trip, meaning that every bit of space is gonna be important. And the more that you're gonna be able to get out of the food and other resources that you pack, the better it's going to be for everyone on board. Larger people require more food. Caloric requirements are directly proportional to mass, and taller people just are more massive than shorter people. So in the case of astronauts, size really does matter. And so the way I see it, these are Earthlings from the far future, at a time when we've either selected or bred our astronauts as a means of stretching the resources available in a deep space trip. Smaller astronauts just wind up being the more efficient option for deep space travel. So, okay, we're humans on a deep space mission. It's not breaking any real ground here. What else do we know about the story of these games? Well, the idea that one of the people you know has been replaced with an alien imposter is one of the oldest premises in all of science fiction. Think classics like Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1956, or It Came from Outer Space in 1953, or The Thing from Another World in 1951. Geez, there seem to be a lot of movies from the 50s about how your neighbors are actually aliens out to get you. Couldn't have anything to do with all that Cold War paranoia, could it? Nah. But out of all the sci-fi classics, there's one that this game seems to pay direct homage to. The 1980s science fiction movie, The Thing. It's actually one of my all-time favorite horror movies, which makes it a perfect time to talk about now that it's October. I'll give you a quick summary since the movie is older than most people watching this video. Let's be honest, it's older than most of the people working on this video. The Thing is set in Antarctica, where a group of American scientists are interrupted at their base by a helicopter shooting at a sled dog. The team rescues the dog, only to learn that the man piloting the helicopter was the sole surviving member of a Norwegian space team. They uncovered an alien spacecraft buried deep in the ice for over 1,000 centuries.
I'd say the ice it's buried in is 100,000 years old, at least.
When the spacecraft thawed, it unleashed a deadly alien parasite that was capable of consuming any biological entity and copying its DNA to become a perfect replica. Sounding familiar, friends? The Norwegian crew is wiped out, leaving only one survivor, the helicopter pilot, now a crazed madman desperately trying to kill the dog, believing it to be the alien. And he's not wrong. The dog is the alien. Oh, who's a cute little guy? Who's my cute little killer alien? You are. Yes, you are. Good boy, go fetch. What ensues is, well, basically the plot of Among Us. The people on the science station have various tasks that they have to perform, requiring them to split up, which has the paranoia ratcheting up as they all begin to suspect each other in the quest to try and ferret out the alien imposters, sometimes even killing innocents. I mean, even the debates that they have in this movie sound a lot like the team meetings that are held in Among Us.
Pretty? He's one of them. When do you think it got to him?
At any time, anywhere.
Hey, look, Childs, come on.
When the lights went out.
That would have been the perfect time.
Right, you said guys were missing, and Winters, where were you?
The players against each other!
Yep, just about as calm and collected as a discussion in Among Us 2. So it's Among Us with the added wrinkle that the killer can now pose as the victim he just killed, which is actually a really cool wrinkle that they should try adding into the game. Oh yeah, and if the parallels between this specific movie and the game weren't clear enough to ya, the alien's favorite form of attack is its long, sharp, piercing tongue that it uses to both grab and puncture its victims one by one. Pretty reminiscent of that one kill animation from the game, isn't it? Also, the alien in the movie isn't just something that you can kill by stabbing or shooting it. It has to be burned to a crisp or destroyed in an explosion to actually get rid of the thing, which again is why we see the game requiring more permanent solutions like the airlock or lava pit. In the movie, the remaining human characters eventually decide to do the heroic thing. They accept that they're all going to die in the Antarctic science station, so the mission shifts from escape to destroy the alien imposter at all costs so it can't infect anybody else. But that's not the case in the game. Unlike in the movie, in the game, we know that the alien wins and the worst comes to pass. Look at this. Reading the store page description for the game's DLC maps, Mira HQ and Paulus, we learn the following. Mira HQ, quote, after a long journey on the Skeld, crewmates should spend some time back at the Mira headquarters. Surely there aren't as many imposters there. So obviously the long journey on the Skeld is referring to the events that took place in the game's first map, which presumably is when the crew first encounters the alien. After surviving an encounter with the alien parasite, the crew seems relieved to return to Home Sweet headquarters, thinking that they're safe, but it seems the alien menace has traveled with them back to the HQ. And things don't get any better with the third map of Paulus. Again, from the description of the Paulus DLC store page, quote, man the expedition to the research base on Paulus, a planet far away from any would-be imposter. And by the way, Paulus is a direct connection back to the Henry Stickmin lore. In episode 4 of Henry Stickmin, Fleeing the Complex, one of the guards is named Paulus Petrovich. Same name, but how do I know they're connected? Grab a hold of his bio and you get this. Quote, Paulus Petrovich, he won a sweepstakes and got to name a planet after himself. So, pretty solid confirmation that these two universes are connected. So, according to this game's lore, Paulus should be a safe space. But of course, once you load up the map, people are bound to start dying as the alien parasite is once again running amok. The conclusion here is obvious. If this was indeed a safe place before the crew arrived, then obviously the alien parasite traveled with them. We are bringing the alien parasite wherever we go. We are spreading it. Canonically speaking, we failed in killing the imposters on the Skeld, which allowed them to infect the headquarters. Now, because of all of our research missions to other planets, the imposters are able to reach places that they never could have otherwise. Ever think it's strange that a win condition in the game is simply completing all of your science tasks? I certainly did, because it means that you get home, but the imposters are still alive. They're still in your crew. But that's the canonical ending, my friends. You may have thought that you won, but as the game title says, the alien imposters are still among us. It's only a win because you're continuing the grisly, tragic story of the game. It's like in all the recent FNAF games. Congratulations, your skeleton got scooped out of your body. You got the official canon ending. Congratulations, your body was possessed by an evil AI and now your conscience is trapped inside of a digital prison. You got the good ending. A winner is you. Congratulations. You just doomed the entire galaxy to a gruesome death at the hands of a series of brightly colored jelly beans. In fact, by this point, the crew members seem to have accepted frequent murder by alien imposter as a basic fact of life. It's gotten to the point where they're making snowman recreations of murder scenes. Jeez, these astronauts must have themselves a really grim sense of humor, and apparently no sense of urgency when it comes to doing their tasks if this is what they're doing in their free time. Because they know it's impossible. They've lost, and so will you. You don't need to be a 200 IQ crew member to see where this story is going. It's the tale of a bunch of astronauts who, through their actions, are allowing the alien parasite to spread. A fate that was narrowly avoided by the crew in the thing. Every step they take that brings them closer to home is one step closer to the demise of their home planet, with every person on it eventually becoming infected. Oh, wait, gotta deal with this. Get ready for whatever new DLC map they have in the works. It's gonna be a bloodbath. But hey, that—
What exactly is the sandbox then?
It's a 3D map.
Hi! Und ich... Ja, genau. Habe ich bestellt.
That's just a But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. By the way, if you'd like a Henry Stickmin theory, let me know down in the comments below. We just finished playing the complete collection of Henry Stickmin over on GT Live, and I really enjoyed it, and I think that there's a couple theory angles that I have there, so if you want me to dig deeper into it, let me know. Just drop me a line in the comments. Just do it. Drop me a line in the comments. Drop it. Drop that line! Line in the comments. Just do it. Drop me a line in the comments. Drop it. Drop that line!
Hast du satt, dass dein Browser einfach nur rumleckt und komplett explodiert? Dann habe ich die Lösung.
Emergency meeting! Emergency meeting!
What the heck? We just started.
Yeah, but when everyone went off to do their tasks, Orange just stood back at spawn doing nothing. See? He's not even denying it.
Maybe he's just AFK.
I'm telling you, Orange cannot be trusted.
Yeah, gonna have to go with a no on that one, Chief.
Wait, you guys, I'm telling you the truth. Orange's been silent the whole time. He's totally sus going after the wrong guy.
I guess I'll stay back here and keep an eye on this guy.
Ha! Works every time.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that's been super sus since episode 1. Today, we turn our attention back to Among Us, the game that taught the world that imposter is spelled with an O-R and not an E-R. Trust me, I had to confirm that spelling for our new Among Us-inspired theoryware available right now. Shameless promotion alert. We have 2 great options for all you imposters out there. You can wear your sus pride proudly, or you can go the other route and just try to blend in with your crewmates. That new Among Us theory wear, both t-shirt and hoodie, are linked right below this video for a limited amount of time, so grab them before they vent away. Anyway, it's a game all about lies, deception, and astronauts capable of performing an incredibly wide variety of tasks despite the fact that they don't seem to have arms. Yeah, if there's one thing that's really sus here, it's the anatomy of these crew members. At least the jelly beans over in Fall Guys had useless little nubbly arms for them to grab onto stuff. Wait, no. What? That's their anatomy? What is this world I'm living in? Revelations about freakish video game skeletal structures aside, 2 weeks ago we started our examination of the strategy of Among Us, the overarching broad pieces of advice to think about as you dive into any round. Consider that episode Among Us 101 to 201. It's important to master the fundamentals. You have to learn to walk before you can shoot your tongue through their eyeballs, killing them brutally. But this week, we're getting into graduate level Among Us strategy. Level 2000 IQ tactics that'll give you the extra edge you need to come out on top more often. Some you may be familiar with, most probably not. But when combined, all of these will take you from an experienced player to an elite one. So no time to mess around, let's get started. First, I'd like to start with a common rule of thumb that a lot of players seem to have adopted. The idea that when you start a meeting with 7 players left alive, you should probably skip voting. It's something that you've probably heard if you watch a lot of streams of this game.
We don't vote on 7, right? That's the rule.
And if you ever forget that don't vote on 7 rule, Valkyrie will be sure to remind you.
Do not vote on 7! Do not vote on 7! Why are we voting on 7?
While it's a rule that streamers and players will often repeat, and it's often a good piece of advice to follow, it's something that might leave some people asking why. The answer actually comes down to some pretty basic math. The overall reason for not voting when you get to 7 players is this. If you vote to throw someone out of the airlock at 7 players, then you're down to 6 players. Obvious math is obvious. Here's the most important part. In a 2-imposter game, starting a round with 6 players puts the imposters at a huge advantage. In fact, there's a tactic that they can use that almost almost guarantees a win in that situation. All they have to do is sabotage reactor or O2, which forces the crew members to come repair it or risk an automatic game over. Then the two imposters just camp there and kill the first two crew members who come and repair it. That just leaves two imposters plus two remaining crew members, equaling an imposter win. It's incredibly difficult for the crew members to avoid this sort of double kill trap, even when they know it's coming. Thus, if there are two imposters remaining, do not set the imposters up for an easy win by letting them start a round with two imposters and only 6 players. Or, as so many streamers have put it so eloquently so many times,
we can't vote 7.
Good advice there, Ninja. Wait a minute. You were the imposter that round. That's dishonest and twisted, and a really good illustration of the next piece of advice today, which is that you shouldn't always blindly trust conventional wisdom. It's true of life in general, and it is especially true in a game like this. The rule of don't vote on 7 makes mathematical sense, but keep in mind that an imposter could always use that rule to try and delay a vote if people are onto their scent, as Ninja does in that clip. If you're playing with a group of people who all play a certain way or expect you to play a certain way, it can often be strategic to buck conventional wisdom. For instance, killing and immediately self-reporting is generally considered to be a noob tactic. It's usually something done by impatient players after making risky kills that they shouldn't have gone for in the first place. Self-reporting is often seen as an obvious ploy that's easy to see through. Most intermediate and advanced players know that a smart player would never kill and self-report, which means that once you start reaching the advanced levels, it can sometimes be smart of you to self-report if you're prepared to start a team meeting with a lie that immediately deflects suspicion off of you. Again, most of this depends on what level of gameplay you're dealing with. Ninja's little bit of deception worked there because he was playing with a group of experienced players who understand the quote-unquote proper way to play the game, and he was able to twist that knowledge and use it against him to survive that round. If you're playing as an imposter with a bunch of smart and experienced players, sometimes the real big-brained play is to be unexpected by doing the thing that no smart or experienced player would ever think to do. It's reverse psychology. Noob tactics win because everyone is overthinking the game. And those are the kinds of galaxy brain strats that tend to work best when you're in a play group of people that you know. But there are also plenty of things to be aware of that'll help you out even if you're playing with randoms, and most of them boil down to properly understanding the game's mechanics in and out. First off, when you're a crew member, pay attention to the task completion meter at the top of your screen. You probably know by now that the imposters have the ability to perform fake tasks to blend in with the crew. What you might not realize is that while completing a real task will cause the team's meter to fill up, the fake tasks won't. So if someone walks up to perform a task, stands there for a while, and then walks away without the group's task meter going up, well, that means that they're a big phony who's trying to pull one over on you, and you should consider calling an emergency meeting to let everyone know about it.
You were just making it look like you were playing. You're a phony! Hey! This guy's a great big phony!
This is also something to be wary of as an imposter. When playing with experienced players who know about this tactic, avoid faking tasks. Or when you do fake a task, try to time it so you walk away right after the task meter goes up due to someone somewhere else on the station completing a different task. And obviously, that wait until the progress bar goes up before walking away so you can pretend it was you only is gonna work if you're performing a long task. If you sit in front of a simple task like wires for 20 seconds waiting for the right moment to fake complete it, you're gonna have some explaining to do at the next team meeting. This is one of the areas where the game most rewards you for having specific knowledge and experience. So be aware of which tasks are long and which are short, and which ones have a visual indicator and which ones don't. So we've just covered one big reason to avoid trying to fake tasks as an imposter. Another reason not to fake tasks is that it's a waste of time that you can use much more productively. While your tasks are fake, your ability to make use of the security cameras and admin panel are very much real. Of the two, admin is by far the most useful. It's great for giving you a quick bird's eye view of who is in what section of the map, which can allow you to quickly identify who's traveling in a large group and who might be all off on their lonesome waiting to get a knife right between the shoulder blades. It can be useful for identifying where your teammate is so you can team up with them for a double kill. And maybe most importantly, it lets you know which areas of the station might have no people, which can be helpful if you're trying to come up with a fake alibi. Coming up with a fake alibi, like saying I was in laboratory when in fact you were nowhere near laboratory, is usually pretty risky because anyone who is in that area will be able to call your bluff. But if you use admin to confirm that a certain area of the station is empty, you can then claim to have been there without having to worry that someone someone else is gonna contradict your story. Of course, in a game that's all about deception, the most valuable skill a crew member could have is the ability to spot a liar. And honestly, this is one of the things that humans are just really bad at. In fact, a 2006 study by psychology researchers at UC Santa Barbara found that when asked to judge lies or truths, the test subjects guessed correctly 54% of the time. Only slightly better than the 50% success rate you'd expect if they were guessing completely at random. You might think, no, that's not me. I'm really good at spotting someone when they're lying, but that just might be you engaging in self-deception. Because research in another study by psychologists at the University of Missouri and Columbia have shown that people who think they're good at spotting liars are, on average, no better than the rest of us. That applies even for people whose entire job revolves around trying to catch people who are lying, like judges, police officers, and customs agents. Which is a good reason for court decisions to be based on hard evidence rather than the court's intuitions about who seems to fidget too much when they talk. You might be wondering, what advice could I have to help you spot a liar when I just argued that it's scientifically impossible to identify liars just by listening to them? Well, the answer here is simple. You don't just listen to them. As the saying goes, actions speak louder than words. And in Among Us, no action is more important than the almighty vote. At the end of each meeting, everyone's votes are made public, and if someone's statements seem to contradict their voting record, maybe their statements are lies. Of course, this is something that you have to be aware of as an imposter. It means that sometimes you're gonna have to vote to throw your partner under the bus, or out of the airlock, I suppose. Hey, let's face it, your job as an imposter is to be a literal backstabber, and sometimes the innocent crew members aren't the only ones that you have to betray in order to ensure your own survival. If everyone is onto your partner and you're the only one who doesn't vote for them, that's gonna look pretty sus. But that's all pretty common knowledge by this point, so here's the next level play that you can take from the crew member side. Look out for bandwagon jumpers. That person who's always waiting to the last minute to vote, they might very well be an imposter who wants to see the way that the wind's blowing before casting their own vote. Imposters will often join the mob when it's obvious that their teammate's been caught by the group, but they'll seldom be the first one to vote to throw their partner into the lava pit. The earlier someone casts their vote to get rid of the imposter, the more likely it is that they're an innocent crew member, and the longer that they wait to vote, the more suspicious they seem to look. It's common knowledge at this point that everyone's votes are public, but people often simply focus on who other players vote for without considering the important part of when they choose to vote. Paying attention to that will often give you a far better indication of their guilt than just trying to guess based on who sounds suspicious. Of course, as we all know, the best part of the game is being an imposter, and the best part of being an imposter is the killing, where a lot of the strategy comes down to when, where, and who to kill. The biggest thing that you always want to aim for as an imposter is to kill in places and at times that are hard to catch. That much is obvious, right? And so are all the other tips that follow from that. Like the fact that you shouldn't kill anytime you see the cameras flashing red, because that means that there's someone watching the security feed who will be able to catch you red-handed. Of course, that's basic stuff, right? I'm sure you already knew that you shouldn't ever kill someone while the cameras are blinking red, and you've never ever lost a game by making that simple rookie mistake, right? Of course, if you're playing in a game where everyone is properly aware of how the cameras work, you can use the blinking red indicator to your advantage. Let's say you're a crew member, and on cameras you spot someone who looks like they're about to kill someone. Obviously, they'd never do it while you're watching. They're probably waiting until the red light goes out to do the deed. That means that you can sometimes bait people by getting off the cameras for just a second so that the red blinker goes off, and then immediately hopping back on, possibly in time to actually witness the kill, or at the very least see a dead body with knowledge of the obvious culprit. And conversely, if you're the imposter, don't get baited by someone trying to do this to you. If you're about to make a kill and the cameras start blinking, it's probably time to move on and find a new target rather than just sitting there waiting for the person in security to stop watching cameras. So that's the win of the kill. As for the where, well, avoiding being seen doesn't just mean staying off the security feed. It also means that you should avoid killing in high traffic areas of the map. For instance, when playing on Skeld, it's extra risky to try and kill in the cafeteria or storage, which are the two rooms on the map that have 3 entrances. Even if someone isn't there to witness you doing the deed, it's highly likely that someone will pass through the area to find the body sooner, which means less time for you to separate yourself from the body and give yourself a potential alibi, and less time for your teammate or you to get a second kill in before the next team meeting is called. Other high traffic areas where you generally want to avoid killing also include obvious places like hallways, especially the Y connector on Mira HQ. Also be aware of rooms that have multiple entrances. Those rooms often get used as thoroughfares that that people pass through on their way to other parts of the station. If you're playing on Paulus, killing in a place like Specimen Room, Laboratory, or Admin is almost no different than killing someone in a hallway. Avoid it if at all possible. And of course, there's the final question of who to kill. This is honestly something that I think a lot of players overemphasize. Oftentimes, the best kill is just the one that you can get away with, regardless of who it is. And if it becomes clear that you're stalking a specific player, that can often be a dead giveaway. That being said, when prioritizing who to kill, it's often best to avoid people who the group views as suspicious. Partly, this is because sometimes the crew will do the job for you by voting to throw their teammate into the lava pit, but mostly it's because as long as that suspicious crew member's alive, it deflects suspicion off of you and your partner. If that player gets voted out of the airlock, great, but if they split the vote in a way that results in no one getting voted out, that's fine for you too. That just means more time for you to spend killing. Obviously, then it follows from this that if you're avoiding killing players who are suspicious, you should try to be targeting players who are cleared and known to be innocent. If someone was seen doing a visual task early in the round, they're never going to be killed by getting thrown out of the airlock, so that leaves the task of killing them to you. Remember, confirmed innocents are one of the few sources of reliable information that the crew has. The fewer confirmed innocents there are, the less crew members will be able to trust each other in the team meetings. Your job isn't just to rack up a body count, your job is to sow uncertainty and doubt. So when the crew has certainty about someone's innocence, consider making that person your primary target. Of course, Among Us isn't a game whose strategy can be reduced to a simple flowchart, which is the inherent limitation of any strategy guide or advice video like this one. Winning in Among Us requires you to adjust on the fly based on who you're playing with, which means that maybe the best advice of all comes from my dear friend Bear Grylls. Improvise, adapt, overcome. And most importantly of all, remember, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, because we're gonna make you smarter in all your favorite games, and I'll